Hey everyone, this is Chris Crazyhouse, and today I'm going to be giving my commentary on a very interesting article that I read. And the title of this article is "The Comic Book Industry Needs to Choose Between Twitter Clout and Sales." We're going to be talking about that. And before I get to the article and my thoughts on it, I want to do a quick plug for myself and just say if you want to support the channel, you can always go to my online store at chriscrazyhouse.storeenvy.com. That contains all of my coloring books, my comic books, my posters, graphic novels, and also stickers. All that is on sale on my online store right now. Another great way to support the channel is to become a Patreon of Chris Crazyhouse, where I upload lots of great content, and I have 3 different tiers going on right now. So if you want to just download exclusive coloring pages, you can do that. If you want to download clip art that I created, you can also do that. Or if you want to download some assets for games, if you want to create your own mobile games, or you're creating 2D assets for whatever endeavor, maybe you want to just do a 2D cartoon, that stuff will be uploaded there as well. So multiple tiers for you guys to go check out at my Chris Crazyhouse Patreon. Links for all of that stuff will be in the description as well as in the comments section. And as always, make sure you go ahead, like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And make sure you hit that notification bell, that way you know when I upload any new content. So, on to this article. I thought it was very interesting. I happened to see it on Clownfish TV's YouTube channel on their community post. I think they took it down. I don't know why. Maybe the discussion got out of hand, but I saw it on there anyway, and it prompted me to go to the actual article. So for those who don't know who Clownfish TV is, the actual article itself was written by Neon, and he is one half of the Clownfish TV team. Him and his wife, Gigi Sparkles, do a lot of, well, I think they started out in the comic book industry, and now they work more as independents and also as pop culture commentators. And they've been talking about the decline of the comic book industry along with people like myself and others for a few years now. And when we talk about the decline of the comic book industry, it's not all comic books per se, but just the mainstream stuff. Okay, so that includes the big 2, Marvel and DC. This also includes some of the, 3rd and 4th tier comic book companies. It also includes the distributors like Diamond. It also includes a lot of the comic book and hobby stores that usually distribute this type of medium. So a lot of that stuff has been suffering, especially within the last year or so with the quarantine and the pandemic. A lot of stores have had to shut down, and really and truly the comic book industry, or the mainstream comic book industry, is not helping itself with the content that it's putting out there. Okay, and that is the gist of this article. I will provide a link so you folks can go read it for yourselves, and I would recommend reading it because it's actually a pretty good read. And I understand that some of the content on Clownfish TV can be kind of biased. I don't always agree with them, but on this subject we can have a meeting of the minds and at least have an understanding that we both see the same thing. Okay, so much of the mainstream industry nowadays, it's not even made up of people who have any type of passion for comics. Most of the people that are in the industry nowadays are people who really just see comics as a stepping stone. You see it as a stepping stone to get to somewhere else that they want to get to, whether it be to publish books or to get into the Hollywood industry. Usually it's people who have maybe published some books that weren't that popular, but somehow they maybe won an award here or got some clout here or there. They worm their way into the comic book industry, and they figure, well, this is my ticket to Hollywood. This is my ticket to writing a screenplay that people will actually want to read if I make some comic books, and then that gets turned into a movie or a storyline or whatever, right? And in my opinion, that's very much the wrong way to go about it. I think they look at people like Warren Ellis or Mark Millar or Robert Kirkman and think, oh, well, these people, they worked in comics and now they're writing these multi-million-dollar movies and franchises on TV and animated series and everything else. So we want to do what they do. But you forget that those people, when they wrote for comics, they were part of the comic book industry and they wanted to be there. Robert Kirkman has a love of comics. Mark Millar has a love of comics. It's not, they weren't doing it as a stepping stone to get to Hollywood. They were doing it, most of them were doing it when it wasn't even popular to be a writer for comics. They did it because they loved it, and it just turned out that this became the preferred medium that Hollywood wants to pilfer and plunder at this point. So now you have a lot of these, you know, ne'er-do-wells in other industries trying to jump into the comic book industry, and really the mainstream comic book industry looks like a dead carcass with a bunch of vultures circling around it and picking at its bones at this point, trying to take whatever they can to get them a jump start into the career that they really want. There's no passion there for the comics. There's no passion or understanding of the dynamics of what the comics are about, or the heroes themselves and what they are meant to portray, how it's wish fulfillment. And there's been a lot of animosity from this industry nowadays towards its own fans, the fans that helped build this industry. You know, the people who paid their hard-earned money for this industry, they've pushed them out, and they'll label them automatically as misogynist or racist or a bigot or whatever. And they've kind of pushed those people out to the fringes in order to create this quote-unquote super diverse woke industry. And you know, they do a lot of virtue signaling on social media, making it seem like, oh, we're so great, look at us here, we got these diverse characters, we're making Superman black, we're making Wonder Woman black, we're making this character Asian, these characters are gay, this character's trans. You know, it's like they're just putting all these labels on characters and thinking that's going to be the way to get this new audience in. The problem with that is that this audience that they're trying to court does not actually buy comics. Oh, they'll give you a couple of good likes on Twitter, they'll give you lots of thumbs up on social media, on YouTube, on Instagram, they'll clap for you, and they'll join in with you when you degrade your actual paying audience. But these people do not actually enjoy or buy any of these comic books. They talk a good game, but these are not the audience that actually pays money for this medium. In fact, when you watch them, if you even go on any of their social media channels, you'll see that they actually tear down the medium more than they actually support it. They'll talk bad about the classic artists out there. They'll degrade them. They'll act like certain artists who are considered top tier, they'll make it seem like these people are overrated, as if there's no litmus test or level test for having skills in comics anymore. You just think anyone can jump in, put out any old trash. I mean, we've seen the terrible artwork that's been put out over the last year, just in the last year, with that Wonder Woman 1984 cover, that Captain Marvel nonsense they put out there. They've just been putting out a lot of trash. There's even recently this new She-Hulk character, I guess it's going to be called the Winter Hulk or something like that. The cover looks terrible. I don't know if it's the cover or some artwork for a poster or whatever, but it just looks terrible. It's not dynamic. It doesn't say anything. It doesn't jump out at you. It's not something you would even want to buy. If I saw this on the rack just from looking at the cover, I'm not messing with this. And it has nothing to do just with this not even being a feminine character. You're calling it a She-Hulk, but there's nothing feminine about the character whatsoever. That's another thing. Once again, trying to virtue signal, they try to take the femininity out of the female characters, and they try to take the masculinity out of the male characters. It's just ridiculous. And like I said, they're trying to get this audience and to pander to an audience that doesn't even read their comic books. These people don't care about those comic books. They don't come to your events and get your autograph. Even if the people that you should appreciate, you push them away. The people that actually would pay the money for your autograph, or would save your comic and put your comic in plastic and, you know, put it away and maybe buy another copy they can read and one that they can save for value. Those are the people you're pushing away. And you want to court people who really don't care. They jump from one thing to the other. You're trying to get clout from these people on the internet, who literally have the mind and the memory of a goldfish. It lasts within 1 second. Even their outrage is 1 second. They're mad about one thing 1 minute, and then they'll see something else and just run over there and want to cancel something the next minute. So these people are not even reliable as a fan base. And what Neon talks about in this article as well is that other portions of the comic book industry, like manga or a lot of these independent comics that you see on Kickstarter, those are doing very well. Those are making lots of money because you have a lot of these old school fans who are going direct to the market, going directly to fans, and they're doing a lot better financially now than they would if they had actually gotten a job working at Marvel or DC. You saw on this channel where I talked about companies like Black Sands Entertainment, who's doing great, who's outselling a lot of these mainstream comics and stuff, on whether it be on Amazon or just independently or wherever. He's got his own app and everything. They're doing great. Likewise, you got some of these other people who have been pushed away or told that they were a part of Comicsgate, that whole conspiracy theory. They're doing better financially than Marvel and DC. So there must be something to it. So I have to wonder, and of course manga's kicking a lot of people's butts. People would rather read Demon Slayer than go read what's going on with Spider-Man at this point. So that's what I mean. It's sad to see, as someone who is a classic comic book fan, to even have to see this happen. But it also can be very heartening in a way, because now it's given an avenue for people who are independent to slide in there. I can tell you the best comic books I've read in the last year, especially during quarantine, is stuff that I've supported on Kickstarter or Indiegogo. So a lot of comic books that I supported from independent black creators, I've really enjoyed that stuff, and that harkens back to more of my sensibilities as far as a comic book or just that type of pulp entertainment than anything the mainstream has put out there. I'm not even interested in what the mainstream is putting out. I don't even want to waste my time. If the only sales that they're really getting from fans as far as the mainstream industry is people going back and buying trades of classic stories. That's it. Like even at my own local comic book shop, they have all these sales on graphic novels. That's what people are buying. They're buying the classic stories. They're not buying the new stuff, I tell you that. They're not buying these new whatever nonsensical crossovers that they're coming out with, Future State and everything else. No one cares about that. People rather buy something that they know or that they enjoyed before. And they're not bothering with some of the stuff that comes out now. And it's, like I said, it's a sinking, dying industry. And now certain comic book creators are starting to realize that. But at this point, it might be a little too late. Might not be able to do anything about it at this point, especially if you're going to keep doing the same things over and over and over again. You're going to keep trashing your actual fans that pay and try to get thumbs up from knuckleheads on Twitter. That's not the way to go. Thumbs up and likes do not count for sales. That's not going to help you get more sales. Doesn't matter how many likes you get or how many people agree with whatever nonsense you just said on social media. Does that translate to sales? Yes or no? That's what matters, the dollar amount. Doesn't matter how many likes or how much patting on the back that you get on your social media. It doesn't matter. So, once again, I will leave a link to the article. You guys can go read it and tell me what you think of it, or just give me your opinion here in the comments section. I very much like to hear it. Anyway, guys, Chris Crazyhouse signing out. Peace.